The lights went out, and when they came back on, she wasn't herself anymore. It was supposed to be the perfect honeymoon. Ethan and Claire had just gotten married, a dream wedding in California, filled with laughter, champagne, and promises of forever. To celebrate, they decided to go on their first international trip together, Zurich, Switzerland. Snow-capped mountains, cozy cafes, and peaceful lakes. It felt like heaven on earth. But what they didn't know was that heaven can turn into hell overnight. Their flight landed on a cold, foggy evening. Claire looked out the window of their taxi, admiring the snow-covered streets. Ethan smiled, holding her hand. "Just wait till you see our hotel," he said. "I found this place online. It's old-fashioned but cheap. Kind of mysterious, actually." That was his first mistake. When they arrived, the cab driver frowned. "You sure this is the place?" he asked, pointing to a large wooden building half buried in snow. The paint was peeling, the lights flickered, and no name board hung outside. Ethan laughed nervously. "Yeah, it's supposed to be vintage style." The driver muttered something in German under his breath, refused to take the tip, and drove away fast. Inside, the hotel smelled of old wood and dampness. The receptionist, an old man with cloudy eyes, handed them a single key. "Room 307, he said quietly. "Don't open the window after midnight." Smiled awkwardly. Okay." They reached their room, cozy but strange. Antique furniture, a dusty mirror, and an old painting of a couple staring blankly at each other. The wind howled outside. Still, they laughed, unpacked, ordered hot chocolate, and turned on Netflix. Hours passed. Wrapped in a blanket, they cuddled on the bed, whispering, kissing, just happy to be alone together. But slowly, the temperature began to rise. Claire shifted uncomfortably. "Ethan, it's so hot in here," she whispered. He smiled. "That's just you, babe." She giggled, but then stopped. Her smile faded. Sweat dripped down her forehead. Her skin turned pale. "I need water," she muttered. Ethan handed her a bottle, but she shook her head. "It's empty. I'll grab one from the other room." As she reached for a new bottle, something caught her attention. A faint movement behind the window curtain. It looked like a shadow, human-like, watching. Her hand froze midair. "Hello?" she called softly. No answer, just the wind whistling outside. She slowly pulled the curtain open. Nothing. Just her reflection staring back through the frosted glass. She exhaled nervously. "Get it together, Claire," she whispered. "It's just your imagination." She returned to the bed. Ethan smiled and wrapped his arms around her again. "Better?" he asked. She nodded, but her eyes were distant. Moments later, her breathing changed. Deep, heavy, unnatural. Ethan frowned. "Claire," she didn't respond. Her body began to tremble. Then her eyes snapped open, red, burning red. Before Ethan could react, she lunged her hands wrapped tightly around his throat. "Claire, what are you doing?" he gasped. Her nails dug into his skin. She wasn't speaking, just growling, her face twisting into something demonic. He tried to pull her hands away, but her strength was inhuman. The lamp fell off the bedside table and shattered. Ethan's vision blurred. His heart pounded. With all his strength, he slapped her once, hard. She collapsed to the floor, unconscious. Panting, Ethan crawled to her, shaking her shoulders. "Claire, wake up," No response. He grabbed a glass of water and splashed it on her face. Her eyes fluttered open, normal again. She began crying uncontrollably. "Ethan, there's someone here," she whispered. "I saw a shadow by the window. I thought it was you, but it wasn't." Ethan hugged her, trembling. "It's okay. Maybe it's just..." He stopped mid-sentence. Behind her, reflected in the broken mirror, stood a dark figure, tall, featureless. Its head tilted slowly to the side, watching them. Ethan's blood ran cold. He turned around. Nothing. He grabbed Claire's hand. "We're leaving. Now." They ran into the hallway, but it was pitch black. The lights flickered as faint footsteps echoed from behind them. Down the hall, the old receptionist appeared, holding a lantern. "You opened the window, didn't you?" he said softly. Ethan's voice shook. "No, we didn't." The old man shook his head. "She saw it. That's enough. Now it sees you too." Suddenly, the lights exploded, every bulb shattered at once. The hallway filled with whispers. A cold wind rushed past them. Claire screamed as invisible hands brushed her shoulders. Ethan dragged her toward the exit, but when he opened the main door, outside wasn't the street. It was the same hallway, over and over, endless. Claire sobbed, collapsing to the floor. "We're trapped." Ethan turned to the old man, but he was gone. Only his lantern remained, flickering weakly. A whisper echoed through the hall. "You shouldn't have come here. Lovers don't leave this place." The lantern flickered again and went out. The next morning, local police received a call from a hiker. He'd found 2 suitcases still zipped near an old abandoned hotel ruin deep in the woods outside Zurich. No one had checked into that hotel in over 40 years. When officers searched the property, they found 2 dusty passports on the counter, Ethan and Claire's. But the strangest thing, on the cracked mirror of room 307, someone had written, in frost, "Do not open the window." If you like this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember, next time you book a cheap hotel, someone might already be waiting inside your room.